Okay, this is Martin Hinchelwood from Naked Agility. I have a few things that I wanted to mention tonight. I'm going to be doing a meetup for the future of work in conjunction with the British Computer Society at 7 p.m. UK time tonight. I'm going to be talking about scaling dragons, the things that are going to be beneficial or destroy us as we move towards scaling agility, and things that we need to consider and figure out. So I think that will be good fun. I'm going to be talking about Scrum initially. And then I'm going to be diving a little bit into Nexus, but more from the perspective of the practices that really matter for a large-scale Scrum team. So I'm going to talk about them for a little bit. And then maybe we'll touch a little bit on metrics and getting an understanding of some of the key at least starter metrics. You might not be, the metrics I'm going to talk about might not be valid for your organization, but you can use them as a starter point, as hints, as a lead through towards understanding metrics that might be viable for your organization. And that's Scaling Dragons tonight at 7 p.m. GMT. With the Future of Work meetup in conjunction with the British Computer Society. It's also going to stream live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So if you can't get into those events, you can certainly get into that. But ultimately, if you want to be in an interactive session, then definitely head over to the meetup and join in. The folks that are organizing the meetup are awesome, and we're going to have a good fun. Again, that's Future of Work in conjunction with British Computer Society at 7 p.m. Tonight. I also wanted to mention that I'm working, obviously, there's no in-person events going on. So anytime that I've got a conference event, we're going to be doing it online. If the conference event is cancelled, then I will record or do a live event anyway at the same time or separately of that talk so that people can join in. And I'm also going to be moving some of my training classes to be live virtual classes. This is a very complicated thing. All of the Scrum.org classes that I teach are really designed to be high bandwidth in-person classes. So what I want to do is, for the classes that make sense, we're going to run some virtual classes. We'll probably run them as kind of like a 2-day event and see what makes sense. Whether it makes sense to continue to run it as a 2-day event or to balance that with do it over 4 days, 4 half days, or do 2 full days. What makes sense for that training? So I've been looking at the Professional Scrum Master and the Professional Scrum with UX are ones that I think I'm going to run first. In the next couple of weeks, I have classes scheduled in Edinburgh for that. So I want to convert them to live events. It's going to be really interesting how we manage to run those Edinburgh classes with that number of people. How do we run that virtually? So I've been looking at the technologies involved. I've been practicing with the technologies involved. And hopefully we'll be able to come up, experiment, and inspect and adapt towards some super awesome classes. The other classes I think that are going to be pretty good online is the Professional Agile Leadership, which I have a class coming up that's going to be moved to virtual. And that's coming up in the GMT time zone. I have a Agile Leadership in the Mexico City as well. I'm going to move that to virtual. We'll see how that works. I've got a colleague that I'm working with to deliver that in both English and Spanish. So hopefully that will work out. Also, the Professional Scrum with Kanban with Daniel Vacanti that I'm running in a month or so will also be moved to virtual. And Daniel and I will be running that as a co-teach over 2 days. And we'll see if that works out. I've been in touch with the folks at during the Professional Scrum with Kanban. We actually used the Get Kanban game from getkanban.com, which I have physical copies of, but obviously that won't work for a virtual class. So how are we going to run that? I've been in touch with the folks at Get Kanban to see if they'd be willing to implement a version of that of their game on Tabletopia. Tabletopia is a virtualization platform for board games. I've been using that with some of my friends to play some of the awesome board games that we play. And really figuring out how to run these classes. Luckily, the Scrum.org community has been banding together. We've been talking about and exploring different options for how to do virtual classes, how we break them up, how we organize that. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that there is a session tonight, Future of Work session with British Computer Society. I'm going to be talking about scaling Scrum to the enterprise, and hopefully be able to join us at 7 p.m. GMT tonight. And it's going to stream live on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. So you should be able to catch that. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Get in touch if you have any questions. I'm super happy to do sessions with anybody who needs it on both agility and DevOps. If you want to talk about DevOps practices, if you want to talk about maturity of a Scrum team, principles and values, if you want to talk about just Azure DevOps, DevOps in general, whatever you want to talk about, ping me on Twitter. We can get on a call, we can chat. Maybe you just have a question that you want an answer. Maybe I can just give you an answer. And let's figure out how to use this time that we've all got enclosed in our homes to the best benefit of everybody else. Normally, I'd be off traveling the world, consulting in person, which is obviously my preferred way to work. But at the moment, it's not possible. So let me know if you need any help, if you just want to chat. I'm not talking about charging you for that. I'm talking about just having a chat. If we can spend half hour on a call and figure something out, or I can do a webcast on a particular topic that helps solve a problem for you, I'm super happy to do that. If you're looking to get 2 days of time with me, then we can figure that out as we go. But I'm really looking forward to the different form or experimenting, inspecting and adapting with the different forms of interaction that we can have over the next months as we are stuck where we are. And luckily, as I consult and travel worldwide, obviously I'm happy to speak to and hear from anybody anywhere in the world. I've been training in Saudi Arabia, which was super fun, very different than I expected. I train in Ghana, in Africa, which is one of my favorite places to be. And I've also been out to Azerbaijan as well. So I'm happy to work anywhere in the world remotely. Okay. Thanks very much for listening. And I hope you get in touch and follow me on Twitter to find out what's going on. Okay.